Hi, okay, we should be ready now.
Hi, Mariam. Thanks for having me.
Hi, Aparna, welcome.
Thank you so
Uh,
much.
yeah, welcome to our platform today with Wellness with Mariam. And I'm really grateful that you could join us today.
Really happy to be here and honored.
Okay, so today our topic is how living a mindful and organized life can positively affect your health. This is a quite intriguing topic when you propose to me. I'm like, okay, I know that it's good, but how does it, like directly relate to health? So I'd be really happy to have you share with us today more about this.
I'm really happy to share, Mariam. So we can begin. Um,
Let's start. It.
yeah, so I'm actually a KonMari home organizing consultant and a Montessori parenting coach. And I help families, remove the overwhelm of clutter so they can enjoy the time that they have to really enjoy their time with their children, to enjoy hobbies, to enjoy their work, be surrounded by things that give them purpose and give them meaning in their life with work and other aspects of their life. So, tidying is a tool to living a more mindful life. I think it is not just the only way, but it is a wonderful addition to how you can introspect on how you want to live your life. So I've been doing this for some time now, and I just love, helping clients reach their ideal lifestyles in their homes. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about who Marie Kondo is. Marie Kondo is a Japanese tidying guru, and she's one of Time Magazine's 100 most influential people. She has a Netflix show, and she's revolutionized the idea of living a clutter free, organized, mindful life. And what drew me towards her tidying philosophy when compared to conventional decluttering methods was it was a very mindful approach. And the biggest difference when I was looking at her method, I've always been organized as a child, but I came across her method only after I became a parent. And of course, all of us know about the overwhelm of things when we have children. So I think that was a trigger point for me to look at ways of how do I deal with all of this stuff that children need and the overwhelm of it all. So I think the biggest difference about the KonMari tidying method is it encourages you to look at yourself and understand yourself on a much deeper level. So the first step that most decluttering or professional organizers tell you to do is declutter for 15 minutes every day, and that's all you need to do. And what happens with this technique is you end up doing this for the rest of your life. Every day you're just decluttering, and it just never ends. But what happens with the tidying method recommended by Marie Kondo, and she calls her method the KonMari method, which is a play on her words, her name. And it is a very um, it is a one-time thing that you do in your life. So she calls it a tidying festival, and you invest 3 to 6 months of your life just once, doing it completely and thoroughly, and taking stock of what you own in your home. And conventional organizers will tell you do your decluttering by location. They'll say start with your kitchen first, start with your bedroom next, start with whichever location you think is not overwhelming to you. But I think what happens there is there isn't much clarity on which is the best way to start, because for a lot of people the kitchen is an easy place because maybe they don't cook as much there, or they find clothes very overwhelming because they're very sentimental to what they buy at a retail store. But what Marie Kondo has implemented, and which is so successful in so many homes that have actually tried her method, is she has come up with a system that sets you up for success. You start off with categories and not locations of your home, and you start off with the easy ones so that you gain momentum and you don't feel like giving up. You're highly motivated and you feel accomplished, that you start off with easy categories first. And the way that she has done it by category this way is when you do it by category, you bring everything in your home in that category at one time when you are tackling that category. So, for example, you start off with clothes, then you go to books, then you do papers, then you do miscellaneous categories in your home, and lastly, you do all the sentimental things. Sentimental, of course, we all know is attached to a memory, and that's the hardest thing to part with. You know, you start looking at photo albums, you start looking at your journals, you look at your awards and certificates from your childhood or some mementos from travel, and then you start feeling overwhelmed because it's so emotional to let go of those things. So the idea of starting with something relatively easy is clothes, because that is something that you can start building your decision making ability, and you start to get more sensitive to what you really want to keep. So another big difference of doing this in category wise and not location is you bring everything around your home in that category, because the idea of organizing your home is so that you give a home to every single item that you own in that category in one place. You don't want to scatter this category across different locations of your home, because what happens is if you have scarves in one closet, if you have t-shirts in one closet, if you have costumes in another closet, what happens is you don't have an idea of how much you own, and then clutter will rebound. You will tend to have, wherever you have a space, you'll tend to buy more, and then you'll tend to put it in those different spaces. So the idea of doing it category wise is to take stock of what you really own, and to all keep it all in one place in your home, so that there isn't any rebound in clutter. And of course, I mentioned that you'd start with the easy categories and then you move to the more challenging ones. And the other biggest difference is, we all have this mindset, or this guilt of, I don't think I want to let this go. This is really hard for me. I might need it one day, or I might find a use for it. Oh, or I spend so much money on this item. You know, we all have these challenges, or these beliefs, or these limiting beliefs that it is something that I might use. So when we have this guilt of letting go, it is, Marie Kondo also says that it is an attachment to the past and fear of the future. You worry what can happen to you if you don't have that item in the future, or you were attached to it in the past and it's very difficult for you to let go. So what the method actually teaches you as you go along the whole process, if you do it properly, is it teaches you to really enjoy the moment, to really enjoy the present life that you have, to enjoy the people that you are surrounded with, to enjoy the work that you're doing. It really allows you to be mindful of the present person that you are, you know. I think when you do this, I think COVID has also taught us that we have to live life so much more intentionally than we were. And it is encouraging us to really savor the moment and smell the roses. You know, it's such a wonderful lesson, I think, that the pandemic has taught all of us. So I think that's the biggest lesson from the KonMari method, you know, to really enjoy the present moment, to really enjoy yourself, who you are right now, instead of worrying about who you will become. So I know some of my clients will say that, I know these pants will fit me in a couple of months more time. I think I just need to eat a little lesser. So another thing that these ideas do to you is, it is every time you see those pair of pants in the cupboard, you're telling it reminds you that you're not reaching your goal yet. Why are you still keeping this? You're never going to reach it. And all these negative thoughts come into your mind. So it affects our mental health, you know, when you keep things that you might need for later. So what I always tell my clients is, you know, you are going to reach a goal. Right now those pants aren't fitting you, that's fine. I think whatever is fitting you, is it's good to have in your cupboard, because it's serving a purpose. Somebody else will love it again. Somebody else will enjoy those pair of pants if they're in a very good condition. But right now, when you are letting go of that, you are embracing what you already own in your closet. And when you are ready for it, when you are in a body that you want, maybe many months down the line, that's the time when you can go ahead and buy the pants that will fit you very well. But enjoying that body that you have right now is something that is advocated very much with the method. The second one is, I think a lot of times people say, I don't have time to organize, or I just can't stay motivated. I think that's the first step that you do in the KonMari method. You have to commit to living your ideal lifestyle. You have to commit to it. And if you want something really bad, I think you have to put it on your calendar, right? I am going to do this tidying festival on so and so date, so and so time, so that no other meetings are scheduled then, no other play dates are arranged, nothing is arranged during that time that you have given yourself um, for that commitment. So of course, when you want something really bad, we have to work for it. And so commitment to the system, commitment to getting it done is the very, very important step. And um, we all have 24 hours, but I think how to use that time that you have to get something done once and for all. I think that's the beauty of this system is, you do daily tidying after you finish your tidying festival, like Marie Kondo calls it, these 3 to 6 months intensive process. You will do daily tidying. We all need to put back our things at the end of the day once we have used it. I mean, our houses are, our homes are not museums. They are homes which are dynamic. We have children, we have things that we want to use, but at the end of the day, if you've finished your tidying festival properly, every item has been assigned a home, and it isn't just kept on an empty counter because there's space on it. So yes, you will spend about 15 to 30 minutes putting things back with your children, if you have children. um, but it is very easy because you've already created those systems when you did your tidying festival. So you will have a lot of time. I think in the beginning you might feel like you don't have the time to do this, but once you invest your time and resources to do it properly, you will have so much more return of investment of all of that time that you invested here later in life to do the things that you want to do. Because I think a lot of clients also tell me that they spend all their weekend decluttering or all their free time in their holidays doing a spring cleaning, so you will have that time that you will spend, without a doubt. I think I'll be very honest, you will spend time doing that properly, but you will get back all the time that you'll be utilizing to do that decluttering that conventional organizers tell you to do. You will not be doing that later because you have understood yourself as a person, you've understood your personal style, you've understood your priorities, you've understood your values, you've understood what colors suit you, what kind of things you want in your kitchen to cook. You've understood yourself on a much deeper level, compared to somebody who will tell you, throw this away, you haven't used it in 3 years, or throw that away, you have not used it for 4 years. Only you understand yourself. And I think just by having some guiding principles to facilitate that journey of your tidying would really help. I think another point which makes it different, the tidying method described by Marie Kondo, is it encourages you to keep what you love rather than what you want to throw away. So, for example, when you have a t-shirt, you have to choose. Sometimes you look at yourself in the mirror and say, oh, this isn't flattering, that color doesn't suit me. But if you just switch it around and say, oh, this color actually complements my skin tone, or this fits really well, or this color actually makes me feel confident and makes me feel really beautiful. So when you just switch it around, instead of asking negative questions about that same top, you're just switching it around in a more positive perspective. And so with every category, when you ask yourself questions like this on what to keep in a positive manner, you are starting to look at life itself in a more positive manner. A simple thing would be like, you start asking yourself, is this job meaningful that I'm doing, this work that I'm doing? Am I helping people? Am I making a meaningful contribution to society? Am I transforming someone else's life? Or you look at your phone and you look at the contacts that you have. You start appreciating the people there on your contacts list. Or you may say, oh, this person doesn't serve me purpose anymore. I'm going to let him go with gratitude, or let her go with gratitude, and say, this person actually served me well. So that's another point that Marie Kondo says. When you are letting go of an item after you have decided that this has done served you its purpose, you let it go with gratitude. So it teaches you how to thank items. I know some people find this very strange. They're like, how can you be thanking your items? They're just things after all. But the idea behind it is showing gratitude in all areas of your life and not just your things. So the KonMari method doesn't just encompass tidying your belongings, it just tidies your life in a way. It really helps you to take stock of what you want to do with your life and how you want to live it with meaning and intention. And so then one of the last points in the whole tidying festival is, so you commit, you visualize what you want, you go through by category and not location, you decide what to keep. Only the last steps is discarding with gratitude, and only then organizing. I think another time, a lot of clients of mine come and tell me, can you tell me where I can go and buy these organizers? I need to fit all this quickly. So I always tell them, look, initially in your tidying festival, your house is going to look very messy because you have started to put things in place where you want them to be. And only once you live in your home for a few months, you'll realize this is the container I need, or this is the organizing basket that I need to buy. So never be in a rush to go and buy these organizers. I think a lot of stores want you to buy them and say this will make your organizing life very easy. It will organize your cupboard beautifully, it will make your kitchen drawers look splendid. But I think what's important to know is first understanding what you really want to keep, what is helping you live that life that you want. Things in our lives are there to serve us, they are not there, we are not there to serve them, in a way that when you have these items that you don't want to give away, we are serving them, isn't it? We are giving our time to them, thinking about how are we going to maintain it. We're investing our mental headspace to thinking about it, stressing about, oh, it's getting dusty, oh, it's getting mold on it, or is it, we're spending time thinking about those things when they're not being of use to us. But they are there in our homes to serve us. They don't want to be delegated in some dark corner. They want to serve us. They want to be of use to us. So I think they deserve to be in a home that they will be loved. So I always tell my clients that the things in your home is, they're like people in your home. You wouldn't want to delegate a loved one at home to one dark corner, right? You want to celebrate them, you want to enjoy them, you want to spend time with them, you want to talk to them, you want to make your life enriching when those things are in your home. So and people are in your home. So it's the same way with your things as well. So that is how we start looking at our homes, and appreciating what we have. So I think the last step is organizing. So that is one important thing to do, but it has to be done towards the end of your tidying festival. You take measurements of your cupboards, you understand what you own. This also helps when you're moving homes, right? You can't move to your new home and then do your tidying festival. It's ideal to do it just before you move. Another thing is involving your children. I think it's so important because I'm also a very passionate Montessori-inspired parent. I think involving your children right from the beginning. I think the youngest child, as soon as they're born, they're very, very sensitive to external order, and not just physically, but also the way that we create routines for them and order in terms of predictability. So they need to see things in a specific way. They thrive in that kind of environment. In fact, they get highly stressed out. In fact, my trainer said to us, their cortisol levels actually rise. They don't want to be in that stressful environment because their learning gets affected later. Their brain isn't able to learn. They're not able to have that kind of um, mental ability to absorb things when they're in an environment that's very chaotic, and not just physical clutter, but the fact that they cannot predict what's going to happen next. So in the first 6 years of life, it is extremely important because they have an inert ability. They have a sensitivity to order, and that's something that as adults it is our responsibility to give them that. I mean, I won't go into detail of that, but I think what I just wanted to say was, even with children, as they get older, they want to help out in the home. They want to be able to put things back because, like I said, they have that sensitivity to order. So we might think that they're not capable, but they are very capable. Maybe not the same way that we do things in that sense of perfection. I don't think there's a word like that. That's why it's in quotes. But they may not do it the way that we do. We have got years of practice to fold properly and put things back, but they just want to be a part of our lives. They need an environment where they think that they can contribute. So even folding clothes, for example, putting their toys back in their designated locations, handling books properly. You're teaching them, you're modeling to them how to keep their things, how to care for the environment. This teaches them later on in life how to be responsible citizens. When they step out to go to school, when they see trash on the road, they want to put it back. They've internalized all of that order that they have learned when they were young. So all of this actually helps them to become really wonderful, responsible citizens later. So I think this is in a nutshell how important it is to have a tidy home. So it just goes beyond having, a beautiful home with a lovely colored wall and art and curtains. I think that comes so much later. When you have to add all these elements of beauty, I call them elements of beauty, that comes later. You don't start decorating your home when you haven't understood what you actually own. When you start opening cupboards, what is in there that is giving you purpose, what is actually being used, what is actually being loved. Because at the end of the day, we are leaving a legacy of how we want to be remembered, right? For the things that we are doing for people. How do we make other people feel? Nobody will remember us for the brand of shirt that we wear, right? Or the kind of kitchen knife that we're using in our kitchens. It's fine to want certain labels because that's what gives someone comfort, and we are not going to be judging of that. But what I'm trying to say is, I think we want to live a life that is of meaning. We want to be remembered for how we make people feel. We want to be remembered for what we did to help people. I think that's such an important thing. And our home is our sanctuary. We want to be able to feel at peace in our homes because we feel energized and rejuvenated to serve others and serve ourselves. I think it's important to understand ourselves at a much deeper level. So tidying goes beyond just having a physically beautiful environment. It really spills over into the other aspects of your life. So I can really go on, Mariam, but I think in a nutshell, that's what the KonMari method is about. And I truly love this method. I think it changed my life when I embarked upon this journey 3 years ago myself. I mean, I was always organized as a child, but I never knew of this method until after I became a parent. And it truly changed the way I am living right now. And you don't have to be a minimalist. I think that's another myth I want to debunk, because many people think, oh, Marie Kondo lives in such a minimalist lifestyle, and I don't want to live like that. You certainly don't have to. You can be a maximalist, you can be a minimalist, you can be somewhere in between, but that's just something you get to know yourself. That's why that journey of understanding yourself, only you can take. Of course, if you need help, that's what consultants like me are there for. But you most definitely can do this yourself, and understand yourself on a level that nobody else can. Nobody else can understand you better than yourself. So yeah, I hope
Yeah.
I didn't. I hope I just shared as much as I could, and I hope that was, um, it is really a lovely method to think about. It is very
Yeah.
profound, and it is life changing. She calls it the life changing magic of tidying, the method. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you so much, Aparna, for sharing. I know
you're
it's very
welcome.
hard. It's very hard. I think it was a challenge that you have only 30 minutes to cover this topic, because I understand
Yes,
how long it took, it
yes,
can take. And I mean, myself, I had taken a session with you. I'm okay, just to share that I took one session to do this tidying festival with Aparna, and I'm still at the first category of clothes. But I have to say that the session that I have, it was mind opening, because before this, when I was just like looking on the net, like some, reading some blogs, and they just say something about spark joy, and I'm like, what is spark joy? I mean, when I see my pen, how does that spark joy? But then when I go through the session with you, and going through the mindful process itself of sorting through our things, it makes much more sense. It really makes a lot of sense. And after my first session with you, Aparna, I have to say that I finally found clothes to wear. Okay, it's like
yes,
I thought that, oh no, I don't have enough clothes, I need to buy. And it's just that, exactly as you said, like we wouldn't know how much things we have unless we put them together. So after that process of putting all the clothes together, or all the tops together, and then I finally know how much I have. And the session of choosing what I love instead of choosing what to give away, what I don't, it's also mind changing, because now whatever I have left, okay, after that session, I gave away half my wardrobe,
yeah,
and I still feel that I have a lot of things I can wear, because
yes,
I choose it, like you say, positively, like what do I
yes,
love to wear. So
yes.
I would say that whatever Aparna is sharing, it's as someone have gone through that session with her, um, it really works. Before this, I'm like, KonMari, it's just a funny thing that spark joy, ha ha ha. But sorry, but
Yeah,
after going through, there's like,
yes,
oh, it's like the light went off, like, ding.
yes,
This is what it means.
yes.
Um, so I would really highly recommend. So Aparna, can you also tell us more about how can the clients engage you? Like, how do you support them in this process as a
So,
consultant?
so I actually offer a lot of free tips on my Instagram. So I regularly, put out content on my Instagram. So I have a lot of free tips, and I'm going to be having my email newsletter out soon, where I also share, tips on how to live a more mindful and organized life, and tips on how to be a Montessori-inspired parent. And um, that's one part. You can easily go there. I also have my Facebook community, my private Facebook community, where I mean, if you can just go on Global Mindful Journey on Instagram, everything is there. Where I share on a more intimate level with people who want to hear from me, and we share our journeys, our parenting struggles, our tidying challenges, all of that on that Facebook community. What I actually do is work one on one with clients, and I think the biggest difference with actually doing this method is the biggest challenge that most clients or most parents have is, first of all, they don't have the time. Second most important thing is they try it. I think it's not difficult to try this. Every resource available possible is out there on the KonMari method. If you just go to KonMari.com, there's a lot of resources there. She has videos. There are lots of bloggers who write about it. I think there's a sea of information out there. But I think what people get stuck with is accountability and lack of motivation. I think it's not abnormal at all. I think you life comes in the way, right? And this doesn't feel like a priority, although it is. But sometimes you just need that non-judgmental perspective of looking at your things. You need someone to hold your hands, literally hold your hands, to be able to take you through that journey once. Because like I said, I think trying it many times actually wastes a lot of time, because it is precious time. You know, you could have spent that time with your child or your partner or your friends or any other loved one in your life. So what happens is, when you feel overwhelmed, you want to give up midway, that's when people want to reach out to me and want to do it properly once and for all. I think that's the beauty of this method, that you don't have to keep engaging me. You know, you just do it once. You're empowered to have that skill for the rest of your life. It's like teaching a life skill.
Yeah.
Teaching you how to change the way you look at your things is a life skill. And it allows you, it empowers you to spend the rest of your life with contentment. You know, knowing who you are is a powerful skill,
Mm.
which I think some people just need that support, which I'm more than happy to do. Because a lot of people start apologizing to me. Oh, I'm sorry, my room is in a mess, I can't. But I thrive in that. I love helping people reach their goals where they feel overwhelmed, because that is my job. I want to take that away from them. I want to take that overwhelm away and give them clarity into, leading that life that they want, reaching that point in time where they enjoy that home that they envision for themselves. So I do one-on-one coaching with clients. What I'm actually offering also very, very soon is a group coaching program. And this is for people who still want that accountability, but it is at a much more subsidized rate, because of course I'll be teaching a lot more people at the same time. But I'll also be introducing a lot of, it will be a 10-week program, and we will have live coaching. I won't be recording anything. It will be a live coaching, just like how we're doing here. And people can choose to have their cameras on or not. That's fine. But we are going to be doing a lot of tidying in tandem and answering a lot of questions that they have. And I'll be having implementation weeks in between the different weeks, so that they can catch up on the weeks that they couldn't complete whatever they needed to do. I think why it's important to have a time limit on this is because a tidying festival can just go on and on if you've not put the time to do this. It will never end, and the idea is to end it. We don't want it to not have an end point. The idea is to finish it, to have that shock therapy. You need to have that to be able to really appreciate from this to that, because you've done it in a reasonably acceptable time. I think we're not trying to have unreasonable expectations on time frames, but to at least have a start time and an end time would actually make this a more meaningful effort from their part. So it will be over 10 weeks with a lot of implementation weeks in between. I'll also be having guest experts on the different areas where you can enjoy living a more mindful life. So I have that in the lineup. I also have a lot of games and prizes and things to reward people who are on the group coaching, because I think that also serves like an incentive, like it feels rewarding to be, to be given something for your efforts at the end of it. Of course, I'm an advocate for living a low waste life, so it won't be physical prizes, but it will be something very, very meaningful to complement your tidying journey. So having all of these things in the group coaching actually would help, and you're having other parents or other people who are with you on that journey, so you don't feel alone. You don't feel like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. You have other people to bounce your ideas off with. So this is something that I'll be offering very soon, and yeah, I think this will be very meaningful to a lot of people who at the moment can't invest in a full-time one-on-one coaching that I do. And yeah, I hope to have a lot of people. So if there's any questions about that, I'm reachable. I think Mariam will share my email address with
Yeah.
all of you.
I will
Uh,
send the email in the ticket, and also I will write it on the YouTube link later on after this. Then I will be updating it.
yes. And
Yeah.
Mariam, I actually had a question for you.
Yeah.
So I know you are a wellness consultant. You advocate living with natural alternatives for around your home and life in general. So how do you think your principles of how to live a healthy lifestyle could complement what I do? I'm very curious to know that.
When we have everything tidy in its place, then it's easier to clean. And for me, I coach more about how to live a non-toxic environment. So I teach about how to clean like surfaces, more like surfaces and our clothes, but using natural-based cleaners, because all these, actually whatever clothes that we put on ourselves, we are absorbing whatever chemicals that we are using to wash them with. So these affect our health also. And when we put our clothes in the wardrobe and we hang them, whatever chemicals that are in our detergent is oozing out throughout the night in the bedroom. So that itself is also affecting our health. And this is where, for me, I teach about how what are alternatives they can use, and how to actually use them. Good things don't come really cheap, but it doesn't mean it has to be expensive. So I teach them how to keep it affordable also. And another part is the mental state. Like when we're doing this tidying, it involves a lot of emotion. I think I've asked you before this about I feel very emotionally attached. So when I was doing the tidying process, I use essential oils to help me also.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like there are oils that can help to motivate, and there are oils that help to release some hurdles. Like, okay, we have emotional hurdle, so we have oils that help with something like surrendering or like release these emotional blocks, and some oils that can help with releasing stress when we are in the process, like maybe we are overthinking this. So when I use the essential oils, it helps me to set like a calm environment, and then give clarity. So I use different oils for different emotions that I would like to achieve. So I think that also complements my tidying process when I was doing it. And I feel that perhaps it's something that you can also introduce. We can
That's
we can talk
interesting.
more, we can discuss more, yeah,
Yes,
about the
that's
details.
interesting. That's interesting because I had another parent who reached out to me and said, "Oh, I don't need cleaning in my home." And then I said, "Actually, cleaning can't be done if your home isn't tidy. If you haven't cleared your floor space, if you haven't understood what's in your closets, if you haven't understood what's on your kitchen countertops, you cannot clean." Cleaning actually
Yeah,
takes away germs and dirt, and
yeah.
that's what cleaning is. But tidying is really taking stock of what you own. That's
Mm.
what tidying does. So it's two sides of the same coin, but they're not the same.
Yeah.
But you do need one. One can't work without the other. So it's
Mm.
definitely complementary. So interesting to hear that, Mariam. And yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
let's
I'm keen to know more. Yes, we can
yeah.
talk about it offline.
Yeah. Okay, so let's catch up, and thank you everyone for being online today. And we will update more about the contact details. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thanks, Mariam. Thank you,
Bye bye.
everyone, for
See you.
listening.